Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is going to be fairly dry for most over the coming 5 days, and it is going to get increasingly hotter for some, especially in the south and the east. We could be reaching heatwave conditions through the early parts of next working week, as it is looking likely we'll see temperatures getting towards that 30-degree range. And of course, for an official heat wave in London, we need 3 consecutive days above or at 28 degrees, and that is looking increasingly likely from the looks of the latest runs. Now, as we head into the longer range, looking at the GFS, GM, Eastern BF and the ensembles, you can clearly see that big spike in heat early next week that is now appearing. We've been flirting with it over the past week or so, but it now is pretty concrete within the models. The one thing is it is a spike of heat. It will last good 3 to 5 days, but unlikely to last much longer than that. It will cool down inevitably into the following weekend. So if you don't enjoy heat, then luckily this is only going to be around for the next working week. It doesn't look like it's going to be a multi-week kind of heat wave or spell of hot weather, but you never know, things could change. That's just the latest outlook that we do have. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, which you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. And if you start on the live radar, we're recording this around 10 PM, and you can see there are a few showers for Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, heading into parts of North England and Scotland, but really nothing too major, looking fairly light and fairly scattered. Some more persistent across Western Ireland, but really nothing too crazy. Can see there is some very heavy rain across France, Belgium and Luxembourg, pretty typical for the opening parade and opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics. See some torrential rain has moved through there in the past few hours, pretty typical indeed. But for most across the British Isles, it's a fairly pleasant evening. It's been a fairly warm day, nothing spectacular. Temperatures into the low 20s, and you can see still some warmth around this evening, but most dropping away towards the low teens. But as I said, it is going to get increasingly hotter over the coming days, and if we do just start by having a look at the precipitation, whizzing through this quite quickly, as it does look like there'll be very minimal really over the next 5 days. You can see into Saturday there are going to be some showers around, maybe some thunderstorms, but again it's scattered showers, really nothing major. As we head into Sunday, it's looking more widely dry, very little shower activity if any at all, just some maybe higher level cloud, and this is where the heat really starts to build in for Monday, it's a similar picture, a bit of precipitation into the north and west, a bit of a weather front pushing in, but to the south and east, that weather front, that is where the heat is building, especially across England and Wales. The same could be said for Tuesday, looking pretty bone dry. And then into Wednesday, we could flirt with some thunderstorms in the southeast. That will cool the temperatures down inevitably, but still would be fairly muggy and hot. This latest 3 PM run is slightly cooler than the 3 AM run, which did show temperatures getting up towards 30 degrees here, only towards sort of 28, 29. But we are likely to see those temperature fluctuations over the next sort of day or two, as we do kind of pinpoint the exact cloud amount and shower activity, which is still a little bit up in the air, but we are fairly certain on a very hot air mass indeed. If you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see it is warm at the moment. Temperatures back towards average, trending above average in the next 24 hours. It's probably actually slightly below average as I'm recording this, but it will be going above average for those temperatures at the upper air level. And then into Sunday, trending average to above average, into Monday, turning more significantly above average, and then could be very hot Tuesday and Wednesday. Look at the upper air temperatures into the mid to high teens across the south and the east, which is pretty incredible. Remember, to get sort of mid-30s, you need those upper air temperatures to be getting towards sort of 17 degrees plus, and we could be flirting with that. Again, you need it more persistently for a couple of days to be seeing those sort of temperatures, but you couldn't rule it out if that burst of heat was a little bit quicker here. There's 20 degree isotherms not too far away, and that would pretty much guarantee mid-30s or upper 30s. Not showing it directly here, but still flirting with that possibility. Now, the latest temperatures here, you can see as we head into Saturday, could get again into the low 20s, maybe 23, 24 in the best places in the south and the east, so fairly decent. Into Sunday, temperatures could rise further, more widely mid-20s, 24 to 26. As we head into Monday, temperatures don't drop away too much overnight, and as the afternoon, look at that, 26 to 28, locally 29 or 30. The same could be said for Tuesday, again 28, 29, and Wednesday still likely to be very hot, so you can just see it is a little bit cooler in that southeast corner because of the thunderstorms. As I said, those are likely to change. But at the time being, looking pretty hot indeed. Temperatures above the heatwave thresholds could get into the low 30s into next week. And there is a low risk, but not a 0% risk, a low risk though, of temperatures even higher than that, maybe 34, 35, if we saw that 20-degree isotherm move in. But it is still, that's still a low chance, as I said. And we'd have to see quite a big change, which is plausible, but we'll have to wait and see. But very warm next week. Hot for many, and it could last all the way through next working week. We'll have to keep an eye on those thunderstorms, as those could put a little spanner in the works, could cool things down and give a bit of, as I said, a bit of a thundery spell at times. But for the time being, looking pretty hot indeed. Now, if you go over to the latest GFS, you see a westerly flow at the moment, no signs of any heat, but it's the high pressure building across Europe over the next couple of days, and that's going to draw up a southeasterly wind. And you can see by Tuesday, very hot air spreading in from the south. And for much of Europe, it's going to be incredibly hot. France could be mid to high 30s, so yeah, incredibly hot there. And we are just flirting with that very hot air. As I said, if that did come in, we could be into the mid 30s as well. But for the time being, most likely high 20s or low 30s looks like the top temperature from the latest runs. Beyond that, though, as you can see, towards the end of the week, the hot air gets pushed away. Friday here from this GFS run, but again, that could move around, and then we go slightly fresher for a time next weekend, and then could see more bursts of heat if we did see more southerly flows throughout early August. But again, we'll have to keep a very close eye because this sort of heat spell that we're seeing now has been flirted with, but really only came into the models as sort of a concrete scenario in the last day or two. So again, that could happen in the coming weeks. It's the sort of pattern we've got at the moment. All you need is a little kink in the jet stream, a little ridge of high pressure building across Europe. Because of the time of year, we can go very hot very quickly. And that is likely what is going to be happening over the coming days. Now, if you look at the latest GM, it is broadly very similar. Again, the high pressure building across Europe in the coming days. You can see as we head through Monday, you see that very hot air pushing up from the south, lasting through much of the week, eventually getting pushed away fully Friday into Saturday, and then again go slightly fresher, and then towards day 10 could see another build of heat across Europe. Again, we'll have to see how that extends in. If you compare finally to the ECMWF, again, very similar. Westerly wind at the moment, high pressure builds across Europe, southerly winds pushing in, looking warm or hot. And again, look at that, the 15-degree isotherm pushing in, maybe even the 20-degree isotherm before getting slowly pushed away later next week. And then eventually, by day 10, we do have fresher conditions pushing in. So you can see all models agree by the end of the working week, we will see fresher air moving back in. But for a good 3 to 5 days, depending on your location, it could be very warm, if not hot, with many exceeding heatwave thresholds. And the best way to view this is by the ensembles. Look at this, below average over the next sort of day, and then through Sunday into Monday, we transition to average to significantly above average. And you see there, most models get us to the mid-teens. And my sort of calculation during the summer months is you had about 15 degrees to those upper air temperatures on a sort of dry, partly cloudy day. Again, fluctuates differently with different cloud amounts, precipitation amounts, stuff like that, but rough estimate around 15 degrees. So you see here the ensemble average is getting towards the 15-degree mark, and that's why I think 30 degrees is quite likely. Whether it's just touching 30 degrees or whether it's going higher than that, we'll have to wait and see. You can see there are quite a few ensemble members that go towards 17, 18, even some towards 20. And that's why we can't rule out 35 degrees or somewhere around that. But as you can see, the most runs showing more around the sort of 28 to 32 degree mark. Interestingly, again, a few precipitation spikes there for 5 days' time. The final day of July, again, could be an outbreak of thunderstorms. I have to keep a close eye on that. And you see, the majority of runs for early August bring us back towards average. But again, I wouldn't look at that in too much detail other than the fact that it is returning to average, as we are likely to see lots more up and down adjustments over the coming days as we do get nearer the time. Just how this hot spike has appeared seemingly out of nowhere if you look to the models a few days ago. The same thing can happen into early August. It's just the sort of pattern we have at the moment. Finally, if we look at the latest ECMWF ensembles, very similar. Big spike of heat. Most ensemble members down towards 15 degrees. Quite a few more are slightly above here. The ensemble average is about 16 here. So again, 31, 32 could be quite plausible. And then we see a slow drop off back towards average for the first few days of August. It does along that heat drop off quite a bit longer than the GFS, dragging out to a good 5-6 days. So again, there is the possibility it holds on, but I doubt there'll be any major pattern changes. Maybe it'll last to 6-7 days instead of the 5 days at the moment. That is a plausible solution, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Interestingly, if we just compare to those 2 meter temperatures here, you can see widely into the high 20s. So I do think 30 degrees is looking very likely next week. Above that, very plausible, but we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you're looking forward to some heat, good news for next week. But if you do enjoy slightly fresher conditions or more towards the low 20s or high teens, unfortunately, it is going to get pretty hot and oppressive with that southerly wind. Hopefully, though, it doesn't last too long, and into early August, we do see some more average or fresher conditions move back in. We'll have to wait and see. And again, thunderstorms could cool the air down very quickly next week. We'll have to wait for those short-range runs to see exactly what is in store. But the overall headline is it is looking hot next week. Heatwave-like conditions are looking very likely, especially in the southeast corner, and it could be even more widespread than that. So as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.